Are you a tennis fan? If so, then have you been upset about the latest news? You know, the news about Roger Federer? Well, you already know that we're here to give you the information about what's just happened and why people are upset. Also, we'll try and add a little bit of extra tennis news too, so grab a seat and let's get started. So first up, what happened? Well, let's jump right into it because we have some ground to cover. Roger Federer's coach has just recently revealed that he is almost certain to miss the Australian Open in January. Oh no, this is devastating. Apparently, he is increasingly unlikely to play the Australian Open for the second year in a row because he's recovering slowly from his third round of knee surgery in 18 months. I mean, that's a lot of knee surgeries for anyone in such a short period of time. In 2021 this year, he has only played 13 matches and has been sidelined since suffering a straight sets loss to Hubert Hurkacz in Wimbledon in July. What a loss that was. That hurt me in the heart. This 4-month layoff has come after he spent a year on the sidelines following his record-setting 15th semifinal appearance at Melbourne Park in 2020. It's always that way, isn't it? They're doing amazing and then bam, something happens. Oh, Federer. Let's talk about coach Ivan Ljubicic. Federer's coach has obviously needed to speak up about everything that's going on. He told Sky Sport TV, Roger Federer is very unlikely to play the Australian Open. He is 40 and doesn't recover as fast as before. He wants to compete again and won't retire all of a sudden. We'll be able to see Roger again next year. I don't know when exactly, but he is undergoing rehabilitation. He's recovering slowly. He is not in a hurry. Well, I guess we could all agree that this isn't completely bad news then. Yes, it's sad that he won't get to be at the Open because many people wanted him to be, but he will be playing again. He isn't going to retire either, because I think if he came out of nowhere and said he was, then there'd be a lot of upset over that. Also, Ljubicic is right in saying that he is 40, so he needs more time to recover. We all know that the older you get, the longer it takes for you to recover from anything. Even getting the regular cold can knock you out longer than it would back when you were younger. I mean, I can already feel the pain in my back some days, and I'm not even 40. All we could do is hope for a speedy recovery by Federer. How did you take the news? Were you upset, or did you somewhat expect it? Next up, Roger Federer outside the world's top 10. Now that's some shocking news to a few people. Federer has contested a record of 21 successive Opens from 2000 to 2020 and has a remarkable 102-15 win-loss record. He is just incredible. However, he had fallen outside the world's top 10 male players for the first time in nearly 5 years. Before this, the ranking structure didn't change because of the pandemic, but now it is. This is the 12th week in 19 years that he has been outside the world's best 10. I wonder what he thinks about this. He might not be giving it any thought because he's trying to get better from the surgery, you know. But Federer did have something to say after his latest surgery. It was a tough process to make that decision. Just because I already had a couple of knee surgeries last year, I was really unhappy with how things went at Wimbledon. I was just nowhere near where I wanted to be to play at the top level. But I tried my best, and at the end, at some point, too much is too much. Now I've just got to take it step by step. I've got to first walk again properly, run properly, and then do the side steps and all the agility work, and then eventually I've got to be back on the tennis court. But it's going to take me a few months, and then we'll see how things are at some point next year. I've got to take my time. I don't want to rush into anything at this point. This is also for my life. I want to make sure I can do everything I want to later on. There's no rush with anything, so I'm actually in a really good place. I think the worst is behind me, and I'm really happy. Well, after hearing that, then we completely understand. It's important Federer takes this time to rest up because you can't hurry the process. If he doesn't heal correctly, then he will end up being in more trouble than he wants to be. So we hope your recovery runs smoothly. How long do you think he's going to be out for? Do you see Federer coming back next year or maybe taking the whole year off? Well, stay tuned because we have some more tennis news for you. Now we're looking at why Novak Djokovic cast out. We've all heard that the Grand Slam on January 17th is being held in Melbourne. They've also said that only fully vaccinated players and fans are allowed in the stadium. However, Djokovic has declined to disclose his vaccination status. His father told Serbia's TV Prva that governing body Tennis Australia's stance on players was blackmail. What his dad actually said was, as far as vaccines and non-vaccines are concerned, it is the personal right of each of us whether we will be vaccinated or not. No one has the right to enter into our intimacy. Under these blackmails and conditions, Djokovic probably won't play. I wouldn't do that, and he's my son, so you decide for yourself. It's a shame because Djokovic has been dominant in Melbourne by winning the tournament on 9 occasions. I guess we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. At the end of the day, it's his choice, and if he doesn't end up playing, then there isn't much else to do. What do you think about these rules? Do you think Djokovic is in the right for not disclosing his status, or should he share it? Next, Australian Open chief weighs in. Now, the Djokovic news is upsetting for some, but the Australian Open chief also had something to say about what is being said. Craig Tiley is putting his foot down on the subject and saying that Djokovic will not be playing if he does not show proof of his vaccination status. The Victoria Premier said that no one was allowed at the stadium unless they were fully vaccinated, and that's where where this rule came from. This is what Tiley had to say. It was probably only a little more than 50% of the players at that point that were vaccinated. We'll get close to 90%, and there's still a bit of time to go before that date at the end of December when everyone arrives. Everyone knows they have to be vaccinated 7 days before they arrive in Australia, and of course they have the choice of all the different vaccines, with Johnson & Johnson being one of them, so they could just get the one shot coming in. It looks like these rules aren't changing anytime soon, and they won't be creating any exemptions for him either. What's he gonna do then? Not go? Well, I guess that's what's gonna happen. So what do you think about this? There are new challenges ahead, with the new Omicron variant around, and yes, I try to stop myself from making a Transformers joke. Australia has paused easing the border restrictions, which was supposed to take place on December 1st. Craig Tiley has spoken on the matter, and he is still remaining confident that everything will continue smoothly. He said, "We knew that when we announced the event, there would be some more challenges just because of the nature of the world we have been living in for the last 2 years. There are a lot of unanswered questions around this, and I think in the next 14 days we will get some more clarity. But at this point, the plans are going ahead as they are." Well, that's good to know that they haven't changed anything yet. However, we must stay vigilant because there's always the possibility of things changing quickly. I mean, I feel like things are always changing, so I wouldn't even be surprised if it does. As of right now, the first flights out to Australia that will be carrying players are set to arrive on the 27th and 28th of December. There will be 16 events across the country ahead of the Australian Open, and this all kicks off on the 1st of January. Also, players must take a PCR test before leaving, and another when they arrive in Australia. They're doing everything they can to keep the games from being canceled, so we just have to wait and see. Well, that's it, everyone. We've been talking about the devastating news about Federer and some other tennis news about the Australian Open. What do you think about everything? Do you think Federer will be back sooner than expected? And do you think Djokovic will stick to his decision? Let us know down below.